Your nervous system is directly tied towards your capacity for alignment. It's an idea that was reinforced to me the other day from watching this Kino Body video. On a side note, good chunk of his content has been absolutely hitting for me as of late in terms of the link between health and spirituality, right? Your inner world. It's largely the same angle I want to take within my own content personally, right? Especially this long-term vision for the channel. So I've just been intentionally consuming that type of content as of late. Game recognizes game, to say the least. So I'll even throw the video I watched specifically in the description just from the value that I personally took away from it. Anyway, what stuck with me most from that video was the fact that your nervous system has one simple job: to keep you in a state of homeostasis and protect you from any perceived threats or dangers at all costs. And from a survival standpoint, this is good, right? If you are genuinely in a life or death situation, your nervous system is going to fire off to keep you alive. And within the nature of physical alignment, right, in terms of just dialing in your health and fitness, your nervous system is designed to bring you back to that calm, relaxed baseline, that parasympathetic state of recovery, digestion, stillness, and conviction. But when you're stuck in that sympathetic, right, fight or flight state 24/7, it's literally impossible to experience real health. Your physique, your gut health, your metabolism, all of these things become misaligned when you're stressed. Training plateaus, nutrition fails, recovery drops. That's why I'm so intent on addressing the chronic stress that I've been suffering from these last 2 years. And in a previous episode, I've already highlighted how this has everything to do with my bio-individuality, right? AKA how much I'm willing to respect my own body. Because I see now that bio-individuality and nervous system go hand in hand. It's literally impossible to respect your biology without also respecting your nervous system. And my own health journey has absolutely proven that through the countless of obstacles and setbacks I've experienced thus far. The gut issues, the dirty bulking, the over-restrictive diet. But not just that, it's also evident in those periods where I was genuinely in elite S-tier shape, right? My gut and metabolic health were intact. And the super interesting thing about those times was that even though my training, my nutrition, my recovery weren't all 100% optimized or dialed in, I was still thriving physically and thus able to experience those brief moments of alignment within my health and fitness. And the biggest factor at play within that was undoubtedly the fact that I was just flawlessly respecting my nervous system and body as a whole, even if I wasn't consciously aware of it. Because everything I did was genuinely done from a place of stillness and knowingness. Be still and know that I am God, right? As it says in Psalms 46:10. That relaxation and conviction I felt was what carried the progress within those previous forms of success. So even when I was training daily, eating processed junk from time to time, right, getting like 6 hours of sleep most nights, those glimpses of energy and vitality weren't an accident, a byproduct of nervous system alignment. But naturally, none of those past successes were truly sustainable over the long term because it wasn't holistically aligned. Why, for me, the foundation of physical health will always be things like bio-individuality, your nervous system. But you also need to be able to build from that strong foundation through aligning your training, nutrition, recovery. So as I've begun to feel as though this first phase of Soul 2.0, right, spiritual alignment as part of 365 Align is almost nearing its end in a way. Past few months, I've genuinely been able to largely detach from that misaligned identity and belief system that I've just been operating from these last 2 years. Over-optimization and self-worship, just overall defining and deriving my worth from external things instead of from God, right, internally. I can't help but think this is the exact approach that I want to execute upon as I head into Body 2.0, right, this next phase within 365 Align, dialing in my health and fitness, unlocking that aligned athlete version of myself and thus experiencing and achieving that long-term healing for my body. As I've touched on, bio-individuality and nervous system alignment are 100% the highest ROI levers for achieving that. I don't care what anybody says, there is a definitive link between health and spirituality. Beyond acquiring the physique and the energy, right, we know there's so much more to life in terms of mindset, personal development, work, relationships, your faith. The truth is that nervous system is equally as important across all of these things. Psychological, mental stress reduces the quality of your thoughts and your work. Spiritual battles hurt your connection with family, partners, community, God. Nervous system is essentially a center for which your mind, body, and soul all intersect, combining those conscious and subconscious aspects of your being. So when it comes to setting and achieving goals across all these aspects of your life, right, having the financial freedom, the quality relationships, the dream lifestyle, nervous system alignment is what unlocks all of these things for you. If you're stressed 24/7 about why you haven't achieved your goals, right, putting these outcomes on this pedestal and just constantly chasing the future, right, fixating on it, your nervous system perceives these things as a threat. So it literally won't allow you to achieve said goal because you've removed it from homeostasis, right? You've thrown it off balance. It'll keep you aligned mentally, physically, and spiritually until you address the root. It's why I value books like Reality Transurfing so much, because they reinforce this exact principle. The more resistance you create, the more difficult it is to achieve the goal. And even now, within navigating healing my posture and skin issues, I notice that I'm genuinely creating that resistance. I'm overly attaching myself to the outcome and thus losing touch with the present moment as a result. So even with a dialed sleep schedule, minimal training, simplifying my diet, none of it matters if my nervous system is misaligned. Not just from physical stress, but also internal stress in terms of the dynamic between my mind and my soul. Living too much from ego is a recipe for a broken nervous system. Conversely, living from your heart is what recenters you, realigns you internally, creating that stillness and conviction that is absolutely necessary within achieving that alignment towards your desired reality and identity. The nervous system then feels safe, and that's precisely when the magic happens. To unlock the lean physique, the sharp mindset, the high frequency, elevated emotional state, truly able to control reality instead of having it control you, simply because your nervous system actually views it as safe and desirable for you to step into those new realms of success. This is why you can have the external success and eventually lose it over time, because unless your inner world matches your outer reality, all success will just be temporary and conditional. So a stressed out nervous system will eventually reflect a life full of stress. Stressed body, a stressed mind, a stressed soul. In this modern day, our nervous systems have genuinely never been more hijacked. Social media, sinful addictions, instant gratification, right? All of these things are designed to constantly make your nervous system feel like it's under threat. So naturally, within setting that intention to prioritize nervous system alignment, you're essentially waging war against all of these forms of modern day misalignment. Because believe it or not, society wants you stressed and reactive to keep you in that state of desperation and scarcity. Constantly consuming, overthinking, just chasing goal after goal. I'm seeing now the real goal isn't about winning at somebody else's game, right? It's about winning at your own. And that can only stem from retaking control over your nervous system, right? Protecting it at all costs from all the stress and all the BS that life may project onto you. Breaking those limiting beliefs and thought patterns designed to keep you in that low frequency state. At the end of the day, nervous system alignment is way more than just respecting your body and physical health, right? It's respecting your overall well-being and ability to connect with your true authentic self. Both physique and identity transformation rely on your nervous system. Bio-individuality is the physical equivalent of embracing your overall individuality and authenticity. And from just pursuing that 2.0 self these last 2 years, I can directly equate the periods of both success and failure with how aligned my nervous system was. How comfortable I felt in my own skin mentally, physically, and spiritually. There's genuinely a direct metric for measuring how aligned you are with your desired reality, right? With the man you're striving to become in this very moment. I'd argue it has to do a lot with how regulated your nervous system is, especially the dynamic that's going on between your mind and your body and soul. So the main takeaway here is stupid simple, right? Align your nervous system at all costs for the sake of your health, personal development, and spirituality. I've seen personally how chronic stress has just negatively impacted all of these aspects of my life. And since finally addressing it through rebuilding my health and fitness, right, just committing myself in general to this 365-day identity transformation protocol, I'm starting to experience that enhancement, that alignment again across mind, body, and soul. Finally understanding what it feels like to be present, calm, convicted, right? Just signaling to my nervous system that we are in a state of abundance, of creativity rather than lack. Zero threats except the ones that my ego attempts to create to hijack that aligned state of being. So because of how powerful this has genuinely been for me as of late, I want to ensure that you can also apply this to your life. So as an actionable for alignment for this video, I want to give you a tactic to dial in both fitness and living that holistic lifestyle. First, for your health, set the intention to cycle between periods of intentional stress and deep rest. Modern day makes it extremely easy to just stack stress and spike your cortisol up through the roof. But even with forms of hormetic stress, right, aka good stress in terms of high intensity training, sauna, cold exposure, cognitively demanding work, experiment with pairing these stressors with nervous system down regulation afterward. Meditation, calming music, reading, whatever brings you back into balance internally. Especially prioritize them after those mentally and physically demanding tasks to lower the stress hormones and just realign your nervous system. Shifting between parasympathetic and sympathetic states has genuinely become a forgotten skill in a world that just wants you stressed 24/7. And for most guys, it really is integrating more rest, more play within their days to counteract against that burnout and modern day misalignment. Like I mentioned initially, nervous system alignment also goes way beyond health and fitness. And so in striving to lead a holistic lifestyle that accounts for mind, body, and spirit, right, something that's been helping me a ton as of late is super simple. Prioritizing goal detachment and presence within my days. Nothing will jack up your nervous system more than just constantly stressing and thinking about your goals. Physical stress is almost always temporary, acute, right? It happens in the short term. But chronic long-term stress almost always originates mentally and psychologically. So even if you're trying to physically do something relaxing, your mind is still signaling to your nervous system that you are under attack. Externally, there's zero threats around you, but internally, your nervous system is gearing you up for survival. In this case, the survival of a misaligned identity that thrives off goal obsession and outcome attachment. So the easiest way to signal safety and abundance to your nervous system is through non-attachment and present. Less living in the past or the future and just more making love with the present moment. You'll notice how those times where you're just so absorbed in the task at hand, right? It feels like time is flying by and you're genuinely playing the game of life rather than spectating it in your head. It feels like you have virtually zero problems or reasons to stress about anything. It's because you were present and focused solely on the now. Presence is genuinely a skill that enhances every area of your life. Training and meals feel 10 times better. Your quality of work and relationships improve significantly. So avoid creating inner resistance through overly attaching to your goals and align towards turning presence into a daily habit. Less screen time, more distraction-free walks, right? Just more habits that force you to be in the present moment, right? In the now. And as a bonus tip, reading or listening to Power of Now will genuinely speedrun stacking that XP for your present. Powerful book that I just recently finished and will definitely be revisiting to reinforce that presence within my life. But overall, view nervous system alignment as a fundamental aspect within embracing your bio-individuality, right? And just achieving mind-body mastery. Such an underrated health pillar across the mental, the physical, even the spiritual. Nonetheless, if this resonated at all in terms of aligning towards holistic health, right? Facilitating for both the inner and outer transformation. Building a physique, a mindset, an overall identity that corresponds with the man you've decided to become across mind, mind, body, and spirit. And I'm just grateful to know that other like-minded guys similar to me are finding content like this. So if that's you, I've just been personally documenting my own journey towards that 2.0 self as part of 365 Aligned. Sharing absolutely everything I've learned these past 2 to 3 years across my fitness, my personal development, my spirituality as part of this year-long commitment I made at the start of 2026. So if that's something you're genuinely interested in, stick around for more episodes and consider tapping in on Twitter as well. Just dropping daily downloads and real-time thoughts and ideas that I'm getting within the pursuit of that higher self. As always though, appreciate you for investing your time and eyeballs towards this video. Align your nervous system, embrace your bio-individuality, and chase real holistic health. But with that, Brian 2.0 signing out. Unlock your own 2.0, and of course, stay aligned.